Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. If Tyler Robinson, the suspect that was arrested, used Discord, and if other people on that platform knew what was going on, then there's almost certainly there are other people who knew what was taking place, which leads to multiple either assailants or individuals involved. So he might have acted only alone, although one or two people stating that they had committed the crime seems like an effort to allow him to get away. But that's another story altogether. Hit subscribe to this channel. Messages found. Police reportedly obtained, this is the U.S. Sun, an article. Police reportedly obtained messages on Robinson's Discord account. Tyler Robinson, if he did this evil, barbaric, disgusting act, has elevated Charlie Kirk forever, has amplified Charlie Kirk's message, voice, and everything he stood for forever. God bless Charlie Kirk's soul. It doesn't matter if you think that his viewpoints were vile, which his viewpoints were not vile. They just differ from a liberal vantage point or paradigm. But even if a person thinks that Charlie Kirk or anyone's viewpoint is vile, that doesn't give anyone the right to take a husband and father away from his family. This is simple logic that morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats and progressives don't understand. You learn it in kindergarten. It's simple, basic logic. You can't take the life of an individual because of the words that he says. We all grew up, sticks and stones may break my bones, but bad words will never hurt me. That is lost on this generation of Americans, unfortunately. But here, officials interviewed Robinson's roommate, who showed investigators the worrying message from the Discord user. One of the messages that he needed to get, it's right there. Now, who is he talking to? He's probably talking to more than one person. Another was about leaving it in a bush. Okay. Now, Discord has been used in other events. But here, if you look, ladies and gentlemen, the shell casings, he not only repeated left-leaning talking points, calling Charlie Kirk that word that has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk, but the shell casings directly lead to left-leaning ideology. He's using Discord. Where is he? Okay, if he's from a conservative family, which is possibly the case, oftentimes the liberal, the progressive, the lefty in a conservative environment is even more ideologically driven or even more aligned with the ideology because they're surrounded by people who disagree with them. And the one thing wonderful, morally superior, highly educated, left-leaning people can't stand is disagreement. But the thing is, if he's using Discord, he's talking to people, he's asking, hey, he needs to go ahead and leave the rifle in a bush, and he needs to get the rifle from a drop point. Other people are listening almost certainly. This is purely conjecture and speculation on my part. You do the math yourself. But if he's on Discord, you tell me. I haven't used Discord, so I don't know. I know what it is. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Twitter or X. I don't have Truth Social. I have my YouTube channels. I got off of Twitter late 2018 and off of Facebook late 2018. Okay. But never had Instagram. So I don't enjoy the message board based platforms. And I have told people routinely on this channel, hey, get off social media, aside from hitting subscribe here and watching YouTube, your favorite YouTube videos or, channels. YouTube is basically VHS, but for 2025. You could put a VHS tape in 1984, 1985. You pick your go to the wherever, but get the VHS. You can watch Star Wars. Well, here it's YouTube. You can go ahead and watch the the video that you like anytime. It's like a VHS player, instantaneously. Discord and every other social media platform, you're speaking to people you don't know, which is another issue. He could have been speaking to people he didn't know who perhaps manipulated him. He could have been speaking to a whole lot of people. He could have been using other platforms. So the U.S. Sun, this is the article here. So the article here is, we got a mugshot of Charlie Kirk. Suspect Tyler is revealed after dad turned him in, and sick plot messages found. Sick plot messages found. What would make me think that there's other people involved? Check this out.
Congressman, great to see you. I just want to play this and get your reaction to after the devastating news broke yesterday about what happened to Charlie Kirk. Democrats in Congress cried no and refused to come together in a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family. Watch this.
In a moment of prayer out loud for Charlie and his family.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order.
I think before you even go, I want to say this right now. Every resident in any of those congressional districts better pay attention. And if they don't know who they are, we're going to help them figure it out.
Congressman.
Yeah, Dick, and I was on the House floor, and it was very disappointing. In a day like that, too, when it's was such a loss for the country, regardless of what your political view was. This is supposed to be a nation where we can have a spirited exchange of ideas in the public square, and that's supposed to be a healthy thing. We're supposed to be able to be friends with folks that disagree with us politically. But so many friendships now are being sacrificed on the altar of politics, and it's a shame. And it was disgusting that expletives were used by Democrats, and they were viscerally angry that we would want to pray on the House floor for a victim of this kind of political violence. It was incredibly telling, and as it was disappointing.
Congressman, but just by chance, were you able to keep a record of those folks who were making that noise?
Honestly, Mark, it was a little difficult simply because there was 430 of us on the floor, and they were, not every Democrat was yelling like that in unison, but unfortunately it was a large block. I would say a third were doing so. And that's and they tend to be the younger, more aggressive, more quote unquote progressive types of the Democratic Party. I hope that's not their future.
Lack of respect.
But Congressman,
if you can't even get progressive politicians to give a moment of silence or prayer, even if they don't believe in prayer, even if they don't believe in a moment of silence, they'll say, well, look what's happening in schools. What does that have to do with the Second Amendment? You could ban every single firearm tomorrow. You would still have these tragedies because evil exists. Criminals commit crimes. That's why we have illegal people losing their lives from illegal narcotics all the time. That's why we tried prohibition, didn't work. You have to. That's why Democratic progressive politicians spend $10,000 to $30,000 a year on security details. Okay, and so the same people, by the way, who are against also capital punishment. So they're not only hypocrites in every way, shape, or form. They're against capital punishment, but then you could find that. You could give them the most heinous, atrocious case of somebody taking the life of an individual, and they'll say, no, the state doesn't have the right. Capital punishment is morally wrong. Oh, what do you think about Charlie Kirk? Oh, well, he said hateful things, so he got what, the response is like, you are a hypocrite. You're against capital punishment, but you're okay with a conservative voice being taken away from his family? It's unbelievable. Hit subscribe to this channel right now.